All right, the Buddha said, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. Now I'm going to take you back a little bit when I was in my 20s. If you don't know by now, martial arts was at the core of my life since I was 13 years old. And during my early 20s, I made a shift from Chinese Kung Fu and started studying Aikido. I loved the Japanese tradition and I love Bushido. I started getting deeper and deeper into the samurai, into their culture, their way of life, their code of conduct, but more importantly, their mindset. So in that quest for the warrior mindset, step by step, reading, absorbing, experiencing, I decided to start training in Zen Buddhism, Zazen. And I found a Roshi, which is a monk, a Zen monk, ordained Zen monk, a teacher that has been around for quite some time. And I became part of his group, started meditation. And I hate to use that word because meditation is kind of frowned upon in the Zen community, right? A group of sitting in stillness, capturing your breath. For me, that was very different because I've never really been part of that. I've never had a chance to enter a zendo, and it was basically very different. I mean, I had read about it, but never truly stepped in. So I have a journal at home that I keep, and through that time I was very intense on writing, and I wrote this journal, an entry into this journal, and it stated, you know, as I stepped into the zendo, there was a sense of stepping into a certain sense of calmness. And I got to be completely honest with you. I was blown away by that feeling. I was blown away because it took me to a center of my soul. It took me to something so tranquil and so calm the moment I entered. Now I'm going to give you a vision here of how I entered, okay? Kind of take you back, give you a little bit of a picture. I entered this room. It was dark, but at the end of the room, at the end was a sitting Buddha, right? Bodhisattva. And there were some candles around it. And then on the edges of this room, there were safutans and safus, and people were sitting on them. Now, safutan and safu is basically a square or a rectangle pillow type with a cushion on top. And that's what you use typically to keep your body erect and formed, sitting in a Zen posture, a Zazen. Now, with that said, when I walked in there, and this is really, I go back and I'm almost feeling it right now. I can smell the incense, right? And I could smell the tranquility. There were so many individuals that were sitting in Zazen and posture, and they were all facing the wall. So think of it as a room where on the scrimmages, on the sides, people are facing the wall on the safu and safutan, and in the center is a big bodhisattva with candles around it. So even though I felt this sense of peace within, I got a little nervous. I didn't know what to expect. And I sat down in this cushion, and I remember a young man helped me form my body and kind of gave me the steps and the techniques how to sit there. And to this day, I can say that it has been one of the most difficult things that I have ever done. Why? Because as I sat there, the goal was to count my breaths and to be present in that moment. As I maintained that posture, first and foremost, man, I was rattling all over the place, right? It was just like, I'm not used to sitting in stillness. I have scratches, but they tell you, do not move, right? Right off the bat, do not move. And once you hear that, you don't want to be the only guy in the room to start scratching his head or his ear or his leg. So here you are sitting in posture, and all you could think about is that your ear is scratching. Okay, let's let that breathe through that. Let's go back and focus, inhaling and exhaling, counting breaths, 1, 2, 3, and so on, right? The idea was that you focused on that breath. And if you had any thoughts that came into your mind throughout your counting at the very, very beginning levels, then you had to start over. Needless to say, I started over, I don't even know how many times. Countless. And also, you were told, listen, keep your back straight, erect. This is not a relaxed posture. This is almost like, I don't want to use the word aggressive posture, but you're centered and you're there. So once I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, man, I am counting and I'm doing the best that I can. That's the best that I can, getting through it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. There's a sense of your heart starts beating fast and you just get edgy. And you're about to just stand up and say, I'm gone. I can't do this, right? And the reality is that this is what our society is, right? I mean, most people can't sit still for more than 1 or 2 minutes because they're constantly going, right? So I decided, and I said to myself when I was sitting, I said, I'm not going to move, and I'm just going to finish this off. I don't care if my heart is beating fast, if I can't control my breath, I'm not going to move from here. And I remember that after a few minutes, maybe after 10 to 12 minutes, after going through all that and moving, something came over me and I just kind of became grounded. I started focusing just a little bit better on my breath. I started straightening my back out instead of tilting it, because that's what happens. You get so tense, you start tilting, your neck goes here and you're like this. And if you walk by, you see your body kind of like this compared to other people, right? So I kind of straightened my back up, right? And I started noticing that the breath became easier. Started centering myself. I started focusing on the hara, which is 2 fingers just below the navel, right? That's the center of our movement, the center of our energy, everything that we do, whether it be in martial arts, whether it be in combat sports, whether it be in running, or whatever exercise you are doing, we're moving from the center of our body. So as I became more one with my breath, I somehow, some way, I was able to make it through, and I got out. And by the time I stood up, I had no blood circulation to once the bell rang, and we got up and then walked out and sat on a table and discussed the session. And I believe we went on for over 30 or 40 minutes. But there was a sense of clarity, a sense of calmness over me. But more importantly, I felt like I had overcome, like I had been challenged with something so powerful and somehow was able to push through it. And you would not think that by looking at it, because you're saying, man, these people are just sitting there and relaxing, but it's so far from the truth. Without getting in too deep, sometimes during Zen meditation, and I hate to say that again, meditation, but Zazen, you engage in makios, right, which is our dreams that come in. And some of these engagements are literally battles. You battle these demons, and you're taught to engage them and let them go, or let them flow by. But I can tell you, from that day on, it's the first time I sat in a zendo, and we did actually some chanting, togetherness, and I was sold, man. I was sold on the fact that there is so much energy that you can pull from your center of your body, from your soul, from your spirit, and there's a way you can truly connect with that. And I started getting clearer and clearer that while the warrior mind, the mind that is active in battle, the mind that has tremendous aspects of internal fortitude in it, the mind that has tremendous aspects of drive, of focus, of energy, the mind that is creative, to get there, to have that mindset, you gotta tame your spirit, and you have to be in contact with it. It's a lot deeper than just thought processes. So a lot of what I teach has to do with the connection of the body, mind, and spirit. The deeper I go into this teaching, the more individuals or people that are listening, especially guys that I'm coaching, men that are coaching, start connecting the dots. Why they are confused, why they have anxiety, why for whatever reason they're doing things that they normally won't do. Why is it that they're constantly losing to their demons and they give in to temptation? All these whys start coming into play, because once you understand how to go back to center, and you will hear me say that very, very often, right? Always coming back to center, the center of your body. All right, it's almost like a reset, like a regroup. If you're able to do that, and on a consistent basis, you will change your life. You will transform your life without a doubt. You start controlling certain aspects, and it doesn't let you have that monkey mind. It just does not let you. It will not. If you're coming back to center, it doesn't leave the monkey mind option open. It doesn't let you jump around. All right, so with that said, remember this, all right? The moral of this story is simple. Sometimes in life, the most difficult battles are not the physical, tangible battles that you can see right in front of you. Sometimes these fights come from within. Sometimes these fights seem to everybody else, seem like, hey man, this person is just sitting there very calmly. But in reality, you are fighting your demons, and you are engaged in an all-out battle. So, two morals here. If you're going to engage with your demons and you are in a place of clarity, go for it. Win that battle. However, if you're looking at other people and you just don't see that fight, they're struggling, there's something deep inside, maybe remember that, hey, not every fight is going to be physical fight. Many people out there are struggling with their internal demons. A lot of people have no idea what this warrior mindset is about. They have zero, they don't know. So stay aware of you, know yourself, know who you are, know what you're about, know your purpose. And of course, when you see others that are fighting from within, maybe a little bit of inspiration like this story can help. A little bit of your own experience. It changes lives. Believe me, there's nothing more powerful than having someone connect with your story. All right, guys. God bless.